Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Hey. We are starting here. Hello, hello. Where are we? I have to close this one. One second, I'm just closing some stuff. Okay, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready. I was watching an episode of the IT Crowd. It's so funny. It's pretty good, actually. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good afternoon. Hey, Ula. Hello, hello. I was watching an episode of the IT Crowd, and it's very funny. It's an old show. I don't know if you have seen it, but it's pretty good. There's a bunch of IT guys in the basement. It's kind of funny. Okay. So I don't know if you have seen it, but we have released a compendium update. So basically now in the compendium you can get information about the creature, about their loot, about the habitat, the ecology, and such. Some also have the history and things, so I hope this will boost a bit more lore in our game, which is always nice. And yeah, but the work of changing the loot is really I mean, it still requires a lot of changes, but maybe we're gonna do some tonight, right? So I think I will reanalyze what we have and what we need to put into the game and see. Okay, so okay, so how do we proceed with this? Well, the easiest way to proceed is to look at the list that Ned made, right? I still have it here. Okay. Yes, I have it here. And starting to be a bit hot again in here. So there's also a new quest that was put in game today, which is a quest about enchanting gems. You need to already have other quests to do it, but anyway, it is in game now, so you can Okay, the first thing that I want to review are the items. So I'm checking. So the items that we are missing, right? How do I have a good coverage of that though? I think I have it in my item list, right? So I think there is an item availability. This is how I called it, right? Item availability, which is basically telling us where every item is and if it's actually available or not. And yeah, the other thing, so should we create a group of so for example in Edson, right, we don't have anyone. So if we go, let me just check. Let me do this. Let me list some items, okay? And we have to think where. Yes. Let me also fix this before. There was this. There are a number of NPC that are falling down, and I wanted to check. Wait, I wanted to check on them. Okay, let me check that. So there is one that is falling down. There is one that is falling down here. Just a second, because there is something that I need to do. There is something that I need to do. Dwarven Dungeon. Okay. Okay, wait. Okay. Oh yes, that is really underground. That is really underground. That's a very weird spot. So this was what? This was the so the spot, this spot is underground here, and it is basically a vial out, right? There should be here, but it's not here. Yeah, then probably when he's going to bed, he's going there. When he's going to sleep, he's going there. But actually, okay. Okay. So this is the location. You see that it's underground. Not by much, but it's underground. So if we remove gravity and we get the new Y, which is 15,123, and then we go in SQL, and we update update characters, set location Z equal to 15,123, where ID equal to, where ID equal to this guy. Right, and now we kill him. Okay, and then he's going to walk. Yeah, he's invisible because in theory is in theory is sleeping or whatever. It's, but fine. Yeah, but you see that he properly walked here. So I don't know if we have. Uh-oh, there is a location which is actually underground. Spawn range 433. Ay. This spawn is underground, huh? This spawn is underground. Spawn range 433. Who's using this? It's not ID. Oh wow, there is no ID in this table. So it's by race. No, but there is definitely a location, right? No. Spawn range 433, rule 26. Huh? Is in is it another table? Yes, it is. NPC spawn ranges. Okay. NPC spawn rule 26. Ah. Yeah, this one is very wrong. All these people have the spawn location in the wrong place. Fantastic. How do I move it? Well, maybe the easiest would be... I don't know if I can move a spawn range actually in the game, but I can move it offline, right? So maybe we can just put it here. Now, I don't know how big it is though. I think it's too big. And by the way, there is another spawn range just here. 434, right? So there are... that is really huge. Uh-oh, this one is also fucked. 435. Well, I mean 435. I think we can move here and probably will be fine, right? If we move this one, here, it's probably going to be fine. Let me see, 435. No. Wait. NPC spawn rule, spawn ranges. It's 435, right? This one, yeah. So we have to change this X, Y, and Z, and maybe we just reduce the radius a bit. I don't know. This one, I think we should not reduce the radius. I think it's fine. So the new location is 13632. Minus 727 235. What was it? 727 235. Yes. And 15. Maybe this one we can stay a bit higher. I think we can keep the what we have here, which is 1 meter higher. Okay. So I think we do this also in prod. So is just need to do because as we change the scenery, right? As we change the scenery, we also in theory have to readapt these things, but sometimes we just don't do it, right? And the result is that it's a bit fucked up. So I'm thinking where I should move the other point though. I mean, if I should move it kind of here and have it smaller, then we can move it here and make it smaller, like 6 meter range or so, and probably will be fine. We can also go a bit higher actually. I think we can keep the same Z of that one, but just change the... So it is 433. 433. I think I will put it here. And I will reduce a bit the range, maybe from 15 to 10. So 433. So we will change it to we will change it to 6275 minus 730 whatever 008, and the z we leave it as it is, so it's a bit higher than now, but we change the radius, right, and we do it like 10 meters, which I think is more reasonable. Okay, so at the next restart that would be correct as well. Okay. Let me just store these changes because you never know, maybe I will search them in the future. It's so nice that I can see those things visually, right? It's very, very nice. Okay, so this two we did, right? This two we did. Okay. Can you hear me okay, by the way? Yeah, I think the volume is fine, huh? I think I will release a new version of the card game probably this weekend. I don't think I can do a plane shift release because it's too complex, but I think I can do a card game update before I go in holiday. Okay, so this one we fixed. The other one that I wanted to fix is... The other one I wanted to fix is this guy. There is probably a similar problem. Oh wow, teleport failed, so we're probably inside a rock or something. Okay, we are here. We are here. This position is 9063 or 8995. 8995 is the minimum for this guy. 89, yeah, exactly. It's half a meter below. Half a meter below, yeah. So we will go 9020 or so. 9020. So if I kill this guy, it will not respawn. It will start to fall down, right? And is a problem. I think the initial reload probably works. Yeah, the initial reload works, but for whatever reason, anyways, it's too low, so we're gonna change it. So we will do an update character set lock z equal to 9020 at least, right? 9020 where ID equal to this number, and so this guy will be fixed as well. Now I see there are other creatures falling down or no? No. No. Okay, so I think we are good. So I think we are good. Let me just remind something. Is this part of a... So I'm just reading something. While searching for the right place, no. Just beyond the Iron Gate. I think there was a plot behind this. Ah, yes, is it? Yeah, the only problem is how we are going to connect this to... Sorry, 1 second, I'm reading a quest. There is no more information on this freaking quest. Anyway. Okay, so we did this. We can delete it. Okay, I finished. So I was reading a quest because I was trying to understand if that quest could be connected to the stuff that we are doing, but the answer is probably no. Okay, so let's list, after we did this, let's list the items that we want to the items that we want to add. Okay, we have all these ones: mercenary, battle end, battle double end. We have emerald ornate bracers. We have the stone hammer shield. We have the great axe. And we have all of this. Okay, let me just understand if this is true though, right? Because sometimes my notes are not fully up to date. Hello, Ned. Hello, hello. Sometimes my notes are not fully up to date, so I will have to see. Battle Helm, Mercenary Battle Helm, Steel Battle Helm, Battle Helm. At the moment, this is already not correct, because at the moment the Onyx Dagger have the Battle Helm, so no, sorry, because I selected the wrong one. Banded and Steel. Banded. Yeah, Banded is not anywhere. Okay. Yes, yes, so all these ones are not assigned. Then we have the Stone Hammer Shield. You know what, I'm thinking, can we start to add some dwarves to Edson? And maybe have some dwarf bandits there or whatever, or should we give it out from a quest, or should we give it out? I think the problem is that if you make it randomized, it doesn't make any sense to put it on a quest, right? So I mean, or we simply put it in dungeons, right? Or we simply put it in chests inside dungeons. Or I was thinking if we could create a group of dwarven fighters, right? That they have these weapons. So the options, so for all of the, basically for all of this, right? Well, mainly for all of this, yeah. All these ones are race specific items, right? And for these ones we have few options. So option number one is to create a new mob with that given race, right? With the given race, and allow and drop it, right? Which is good and bad in the sense that you are gonna kill, right? You're gonna kill that race members, and through that you get an item that is race based, right? Which is very weird. So like, because like you are a Stonehammer, right? And you want that shield, so you have to kill your own kin, right? You have to kill your own people to actually get it, which is very weird, right? So it's kind of counterintuitive. I mean, it's the opposite of what we want, I guess, right? Which is a bit the same what we did with the Lyo fighters, right? But they are in the arena, so that, I mean, is more reasonable that they are there for training, right? So maybe you kill them, but you don't really kill them, you defeat them, right? Because they are in the arena. So it's a bit more reasonable. So I think here there is a race clash that I don't really like. The second way is to put it inside large mobs, right? So as loot in large mobs, like for example the consumer, the bosses. I mean, every creature that is big enough to actually swallow a whole weapon, right? Or to keep it in his lair as a treasure, right? Or, you know, we can drop it in quests, but that I think is the worst idea. So I would probably just say no, because obviously you cannot randomize, right? If you do it in quests, you cannot randomize, and so no. And the third one is to put it in chest. Right, in chests. Now it can be respawning chest, or it can be in dungeon loot chests, right? I mean, respawning quest, I mean the one that you find around, right? Like the whatever, ancient chest, jewel chest, Ardenet chest, you know, those ones. Yeah, like ancient, Ardenet, whatever. So are there other options, boys? Hello, the only tongues. Maybe some sort of traitor race. Yeah, that's one way. Yeah, that's one way. Give me a second, I'm coming back. Okay. Are there any other... yeah, it could be a traitor, right? But again, if he's a traitor, then why he has the official... If he's a traitor, why he has the official item, right? Official item being, for example, the Great Axe, right? Or like this one, right? So I would like this to be maybe in a more of a special place or special... So it's a bit of a pity to say that to get this you need to kill your own kin, even if they are traitors, right? So why your own kin doesn't provide it? I mean, why you just don't get it through the normal means, right? So that is a bit of the annoyance RP wise, right? That and it's the same for the Stonehammer shield, I guess. This one, right? It's pretty much the same for this one. So I'm saying that maybe you should get it in a noble way, right? In a rewarding way, not just from... So that is what is a bit annoying to me. That's what is a bit annoying to me. I mean, another way would be through random encounters, right? So random encounters that can actually be positive ones, right? Like someone selling you that thing, or maybe a special merchant, you know, that sometimes that you find only sometimes. Or a special chest that you find only sometimes. I don't know. I think actually the one that I like the most, right, at least for the specific race, is the dungeon loot chest. So that you basically go order. So in order of my preference, I think I have this one as the last, probably. The new mob with a given race. I have these two as the top ones. Yeah, it is probably my preference list, with the dungeon chest being number one. Because it's like if those are, you know, relics or things coming from the past, finding a, you know, in an ancient dungeon, and it makes sense, you know, that they are special weapons coming maybe from the past. So I think this is probably what I like the most. The problem of this is that I will have to add... well, we already have 4 dungeons, right? Randomized, right? I hope they are still in game. Yes, they are. Well, there is Desert 1, there is Oja Road, OVS, yeah, they are there. They are there. They are exactly there. Okay, so the only problem is that at the moment those dungeons are not... I mean, those dungeons are using all the same loot. So I have to change that. Yeah. I mean, we can change it. We can change it. We can definitely change it. So we can have it in a way that we could have it in a way that is not related to the loot quality, but is related to the actual loot type that we want, right? I think we can do that. I think we can do that. Okay, how do I find that part? That is inside dungeon generation, 100%. Is inside dungeon generation and is in the part where we manage the I think it's probably inside dungeon start, because it's where we have but we can search for the loot here. Yes, place loot in room, right? Well, I think I have it on the wiki actually explained. I think I have it on the wiki explained. I think I have a page dedicated to loot. Yeah, exactly. So for the procedural dungeon generation, we added a new feature. The chests are generated with a defined item quality, which will determine the loot rule to use. In PS schedule item create item, we set up the quality, and then the consume script, treasure chest, random loot, use the quality to determine the loot rules. The chest used is ID 71111 Arcana treasure chest. Treasure chest, random loot. I think we have to change that pattern. That pattern is too stupid at the moment. So, or we add a new field, completely new field, which could be one way. Yeah, you see, this is the script, right? This is the script at the moment, but it's very simple, right? So it was a kind of an initial. So we want to use only 2 loot rules for now. 101 if the quality is between 1 and 5, and 102 if the quality is between 6 and 10, you see? So this is the problem of the current implementation. So this one is already correct. This loot operation is already correct because actually it takes the loot rule, right? Yeah, so actually the code is already designed to support any loot rule that we want. The problem is that the chest itself is not doing that. Can you not use the dwarf cavern? That's a permanent fixture. Well, I can use Edson as well, right? But yeah, I can put maybe in that dungeon a chest. Yeah, I mean, adding a chest to that dungeon is a good idea anyway. I think we can have a respawnable chest. The only problem is that that dungeon is not very easy to navigate, right? So it takes quite some time to navigate. But yeah, we could add a chest down there, I guess. Yes. Pam 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 pam. Ta-da-da-dum, ta-da-dum-dum. I still want to have a way to reset the dungeon somehow, but I didn't find a solution. I didn't find a solution yet for that. I can start to speak with the AI and see if it gives me some ideas, but before going there, let me see if we can make this more parametric, right? So Parabam bam. Pam 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 pam. Should put a chest on each level as you go down. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. So how do we solve this? We want to have a loot rule associated to the chest. So or is a parameter that the chest has, but I mean my trick was the quality. I mean we can still do it with the quality, but obviously it is a trick. It is a trick and I don't really love this trick. Yeah, this line is basically the trick that we are using, right? So we are setting the quality in the so we have this override quality that is passed here, and yeah, now the problem I mean we could do the same, just pass a different value. The problem is how do we define which dungeon is spawning what, right? So there is no I don't have an attribute here to specify the loot, eh? I don't have an attribute to specify the loot, and there is no, and I don't want to do a client update at the moment, right? So I would like just to do it server side. So I mean, one way would be to randomize it. So it's just randomizing between a set of available items. Another way would be to do it through the loot quality, and having more numbers, so having like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and I can have 5 different chests, but still I don't really like it too much. The problem of the generated dungeons is that they don't really have a theme, right? They don't have a theme. They're just randomized, so they can get whatever, right? They can get whatever, and maybe random chests are better. The problem I have with a random chest is that they are just respawning all the time, and that's not the way I want it, right? The randomized chest, I mean the randomized chest in a dungeon, or a randomized chest like this one. By the way, I don't understand why it's spawning 2 of them and not 1. Probably the location is wrong. Probably the location of the spawn is wrong, or what? Why the treasure chest? I think the location is wrong. It's too high, and so it's spawning one on top of each other. Wait. Oh, I don't have the ID. No! Well, I can just search treasure chest. I can find it easy. So why the treasure chest is 7085 is this number. And the hunt location... and the hunt location is oh, we actually have 2. We have 2 in 2 different places. Where are we here? Here we are, 195 minus 784. Yeah, this one. And the height, right? The height is 17479. Is 17479. Yeah, so exactly. So it's spawning on my hip. Yeah. So that's why it's spawning 2, because the spawn location is too high, while the spawn location should be probably at this level, and so we'll find another one already there. I think I need to lower it by probably half a meter. Oops. To avoid the death spawns double. 17416. 174 I will remove 16 seems to be a bit low, but let's do 25 or something. I guess many of these chests are the same. They spawn twice for whatever reason. But they are not supposed to spawn twice, actually. The problem I have with this, right? Let me fix this. The problem I have with this is that you can basically camp this thing, right? And I don't like it. I don't like the fact that oh, this item is locked. It's not locked anymore. You find an item. It's not telling you which item though. Oh, we still have the Masterwork Sapphire Encrusted Crimson Hornet Helmet of the Whirlwind. Jeez, look at this item name. Look at this item name. It's going to be deleted right now. I got some gold ingots. I got some potions. Why did it didn't stack? That's a bit weird. Why I got it double? Did I get this twice or? That's a bit weird. Did I get that twice? So the problem of this chest, right, is that now I can stay here forever and I can hide in this nice spot, right? And I can just loot this chest again and again and again and again and again, right? And I don't know how to solve it. I don't know how to solve it. The chest loot doesn't stack. Yeah, I don't know why I gave me twice. I don't know. Probably because I already had one opened. Yeah, maybe. And they don't stack when you open it. Yeah. So in my game, plane shift. Can I speak with this guy or should I always type? Oh, I cannot type anymore. This thing is fucked. Start voice. Meet ChatGPT voice. Work across project. Yeah, I usually use it. Ember.
Hello, it's lovely to meet you.
Hey, I'm ready to hit the ground running.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi there, nice to meet you. I'm excited to help you get things.
Hey there, I've got a really great
Hi there. I just want to share how thrilled I am to work with you, and I can't wait to get started. So, what's the game plan?
Hey, what's up?
Hi, glad to meet you. I think we're gonna do.
Hey, it's great to meet you.
Hello, it's lovely to meet.
Hi there. I just want to share how thrilled.
Do you think that the microphone will be accessed only on one side, so you will not hear me when? Do you want to allow public or private network accessible to this app? Allow that when I use it. Oh, he's already using it. Wait. Can I delete that? Can you still hear me in? Can you still hear me in the stream if I use the microphone here? Let's see. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, I think you can still hear me. Because I see that the meter is going up. Okay. In my game Plane Shift.
What's up?
In my game Plane Shift, I have a problem. So basically I have dungeons that I generate, and so they are instanced, but I also have dungeons that are not instant, so they are permanent dungeons. And at the end of the dungeon there is a chest that is getting dropped when the dungeon is generated, and then if you pick it up, the chest has a random timer, and after some time it regenerates again. The problem I have is that the player can just reach the end of the dungeon, stay there, camp the chest, and continue to get the chest when he respawns a million times. And that is not how I want it to work. I would like them to go through the dungeon and get the chest, and then pretty much to get another chest to go through the dungeon again. The problem is that our game also has some, you know, role play, in character kind of reasoning, and so I would like things to be meaningful. I don't want just to teleport the player randomly after he gets the chest or things like that. I would like that to be feel that is actually meaningful compared to the dungeon location and the story and everything. How do I solve this?
Let me think that is through. Make the chest the dungeon's completion trigger, not a respawning object. Give each permanent dungeon a reset ritual that starts when the chest is claimed, then seal the treasure room and open an exit. That way, the player finishes a run and must start a new expedition for another reward.
Huh? Make the chest the dungeon completion. Make the chest the dungeon completion trigger. Not a respawning object. What do you mean? The dungeon completion trigger. Give each permanent dungeon a reset ritual that starts when the chest is claimed. Then seal the treasure room and open the... Yeah, but the player is in it. Yeah, the problem is that the player will be in that room. So imagine a simple dungeon with, I don't know, 10 rooms, right? You reach the 10th one, so the last one, and there is the chest there. So the player is physically into that room. So how can I seal it?
Let me think about that. Don't seal the room while they're in it. After the chest is looted, make it vanish and open a forward exit. The room won't spawn another chest while anyone stays there. If someone camps, they just get nothing. Later, you can add in-world pressure to leave, like flooding or a cave-in warning.
Yeah, so I had the same idea to avoid spawning the chest when the player is there, right? But this allow a bit of griefing, right? Or even involuntary griefing maybe, but it can also be voluntary griefing, so that the player just stands there, and so it does not allow anyone to get the next chest because the chest is not spawning.
Let me check that angle. Right, so don't let one player block it for everyone. Track completion per player or party, so others can still loot their reward. For the camper, run a short evacuation phase, then move only them to the exit.
Because another way that I'm thinking, right? I'm thinking that like at the beginning of the dungeon, there is a key that you get or an item that you get, and then you have to use that item at the end of the dungeon to open the chest. And so basically you cannot open two, but then we will have the same problem of camping the key, right? Because then people can camp the key, get million keys, and then get million chests.
Let me think about that version. The key idea works if it's not farmable. Grant one bound attunement when a run starts. Allow only one, consume it at the chest, and expire it on exit. That way, you can't stockpile keys or camp for extra chests.
Someone in the chat is suggesting to have like a something that is dangerous, like a poison activation with a timer, so that you have to leave the dungeon no matter what, because like it's like what you said before about the pressure, right? The dungeon getting flooded or things like that.
Yeah, that's a solid story-friendly pressure, as long as it's just a short evacuation phase after looting. Keep it brief, telegraphed, and about moving them out, not punishing them or blocking other players.
But imagine the situation, right? So I have this dungeon with 10 rooms. I make the last room with a chest, and as soon as they pick up the chest, a portal appears so they can teleport out, or maybe the portal is already there, it's the same. And then I put a poison trap in that room that is starting to poison, and so you're gonna die if you don't leave. But the player can just go one room next, right, the previous room, and he can stay there. And then I have to poison, 2 rooms, and then he goes to the third one, and then I have to poison 3 rooms. So at the end I have to poison the whole dungeon, which basically means that the dungeon becomes unusable for everyone. So we are back to square one because it's not a solution.
Let me think through that case with you. Exactly. Don't poison the whole dungeon. Let it stay, but make rewards per player run. One run, one chest. If someone camps, the chest just won't pay out again until they start a new run, and nobody else is affected.
Yeah, but how do we consider when a run is started, right? The dungeon is permanent, so it's there.
Let me pin that down for your setup. Define the run at the entrance with an expedition start interaction in room 1. You begin only when you come in from outside and activate it. That grants the run token. After looting, it's completed and won't reactivate until you exit and re-enter.
Yeah, but it's extremely arcade-like and mechanical and doesn't feel roleplay or in character or in game or story-wise anything. I mean, it looks like a slot machine. I don't want my game to be a slot machine.
Yeah, that's fair. You're right. A hidden run token can feel arcadey if it's the whole fiction. I'd change the fiction so the chest doesn't just magically refill. It's the dungeon's actual hoard. Once taken, it's gone. New loot appears only when something in the world makes sense of it. Bandits restocked it. Cultists finished a ritual. A boss reclaimed the chamber. Then camping is naturally pointless, and the dungeon doesn't feel like a machine.
Yes, that is the way I would like it to be, but practically how you do it. Again, the rule is if someone is there, you don't respawn the loot. And so that feels like the guy staying there, it doesn't respawn, I say what is going on, then maybe he leaves because he doesn't find any loot, and then he comes back half an hour later and magically there is a new chest, so maybe yes, some bandits or someone refilled it. So that makes a lot of sense, but that doesn't fix the griefing problem, right? That someone can just stand there logged in and just deny the loot for everyone else. Maybe he doesn't do it by purpose, maybe just waiting because he doesn't know that the chest will not respawn if he's there.
Let me work through that carefully. You've hit the real trade-off. If the chest is shared and a camper blocks it, there's no environmental fix. Let the world restock happen even if someone is standing there, but mark that person as having taken the prior hoard. So when the next group restocks the vault, its ward rejects the camper. They don't block anyone, and they don't get the new chest, and the fiction stays coherent.
So you are incentivizing the player to create a bunch of alts accounts just to loot all the chests?
Let me take a quick look at that concern. Yeah, that rule would push
hello,
alts,
Lidov.
so
Hi.
I wouldn't use it alone. Tie each restock to the current expedition cycle and require proof gathered through that cycle. The chest still appears for everyone, but only players who've actually done the current run can loot. So camping or alts don't bypass the dungeon play.
Is this ASMR? No. I'm just speaking a bit with the AI because I'm tired of typing, but so one way to solve this problem would be that I divide my dungeons in sections, and maybe I put, for example, fragments of a key across the dungeon, and so you have to basically run through the dungeon, find all the fragments, and then in the final room, you know, you can put together all those fragments and you open the chest. So basically, if you don't go through the whole dungeon, you don't have the fragments, and so the only way for you to loot another chest would be to restart from so to go out, restart from the dungeon, wait till the respawn of the fragments, take all the fragments and go back to the final room, and then loot the chest. Now, that's one potential solution, but implementation wise is more complex, and also is forcing me to create new items, to create new logic, right, and all of that. So I don't know, maybe it's too much.
Let me check a lighter way to get that. That's the right direction, but it can be much cheaper than real items. Track progress invisibly. One flag per section, set by existing room completions. At the chest,
now, but if it's an
all flags,
invisible
then clear
rule,
them.
if it's an invisible rule that players don't understand, it would just be frustrating, right? So it would just be frustrating to them because they don't understand when it spawns, and then they don't understand it and they just leave it and they don't play it anymore.
Let me check how to make that legible. Exactly. The rule can be lightweight internally and still obvious in play. Show 5 seals or locks that visibly fill as sections are cleared. The chest room should clearly show what's missing, and after a claim, the seals visibly reform, so camping obviously won't help.
This AI is not helping me at all. Hello, Marcelo. I remember choose your path adventure in the dungeon would have a red smoke when there is a reset because the dungeon is complete and everyone leaves. Maybe bandits they invade. Yeah, is the everyone leaves problem that I don't know how to solve. Consider you can disconnect as well, right? So a player knowing the timing, right, will stand in the last room and he will disconnect, wait 10 minutes, reconnect so that the dungeon actually respawn the chest because no one was there, and then he loots the chest again, and then he disconnects again, right? And if he can automate that, is infinite loot, right? Is infinite loot for free. So it's a problem, fuck. I mean, the The only thing I can do, you know, I mean, the only thing that I think is really fixing it, but is breaking my immersion, is a very simple solution. So the simplest solution is, and I thought about it already, but I don't like the result of it. I don't like the role play part of it, right? So the only solution that really works, in my point of view, is this. You go through your dungeon. I already had a dungeon. Nice, fantastic. You go through your dungeon, right? And the main, say that the main loot is here only, right? Is here at the end, right? And the other things, I don't know what they are. So the main loot is here. As soon as you pick up this chest, you are teleported far away. Wherever it is. I mean, maybe at the beginning of the dungeon or even farther than that. If you do that, you solve the problem. Because or you don't pick up the chest, or if you pick it up, you are teleported out. Right? And that is solving my problem. Because you will have to go through the dungeon again. Hello, Beonadrit. Hey. Can you just drop the key or have entering the dungeon give a buff that lets you open the chest and remove that buff, so you have to re-enter to get the buff? That's not a bad idea. So it's what we were saying before of the blessing, right? So like you have a blessing at the entrance, and you have a blessing at the entrance, right? It's not a bad idea, I think. You have a blessing at the entrance that you get once, and that allows you to go through into what? And you can only pick up the chest if you have the blessing. No, if he disconnects, is not a problem, Marcelo, because if we do that the pickup of the chest teleports you, right? You can disconnect inside the room, but as soon as he picks up, is teleported, right? So that is fixing all the problems, but I don't like the dynamic too much, right? I don't like the dynamic too much. I mean, the buff is another idea. I like the idea of the buff just because you are not teleported by force, right? But you are allowed to go back, right? Or you are allowed to loot whatever else you want to loot in the dungeon, or if you want to kill another monster, you know, you can. And also, the problem is a bit this annoyance of, you know, 2 players entering the dungeon, 2 are blessed. So do you bless only one, or do you bless everyone that goes through? So everyone that goes through gets blessed. They all reach the first one that reaches the loot can loot it. And then I mean, I think it works. I think it's a solution, right? It's a solution. The problem is how to explain it to the player that he understands it. Because I think the teleport is very easy to understand, right? So you pick up the chest, boom, you are teleported. You don't understand exactly what is going on. I can put a message or something, and he will tell you that yeah, whatever, and you find yourself out, right? This thing about the blessing, I will basically have to write a message that says, and then there is this blessing in every dungeon. I mean, it's very weird, right? Like every dungeon is a I mean, what is the role play explanation of that? Entering the dungeon gives everyone a blessing, everyone can loot, then you don't have to wait the chest to respond because you can only be accessed with the blessing. Yeah, I think it kind of works. It's just a bit weird role play wise, right? So it's just again a mechanical arcade kind of thing, right? To filter the multi loot, but I don't know. You are blessed and you are eligible for spoils. And I will have to save that. I will have to save that in the character somehow. So like if you disconnect and reconnect, right, that blessing is kind of permanent on you until you pick up the chest. Story-wise, it's a corrupted shrine. You could have multiple. Yeah, the problem is that we generate dungeons with loot at the end. They are procedurally generated, right? And so I cannot invent. I cannot have the same story for every dungeon. I mean, another way is to have no chest. Okay, so if you have no chest, but you have a kind of an altar or something that you touch, you know, and is giving and the altar is giving you a gift, whatever, right? So let's say there is a magical altar that you go there and is giving you a gift. But yeah, it's giving you that gift only once, or only if you are blessed, right? Maybe story-wise, a corrupted. There is a buff system already in place. Yes, there is. Can you check if there is a buff? Yes, we can. You don't have to. I mean, I can do it with a spell. So you can have a spell, and by the way, the spell will also appear in the active spells, right? So you have here the active spells, and so if I cast strength on me, right? The spell appears here, and it can be permanent, right? It can be permanent until dispelled, or it can have a duration. In this case, it has a duration, you see, and the seconds are going down. 328, 27, 26. So in theory, we could have a blessing that is showing as a spell, right? Oh, this guy's moving. And when you reach the location of the loot, or you pick up the loot, that thing goes away. It's just a bit weird, you know, it's just a bit weird. Like you are not able to pick up an item because you don't have a blessing. I mean, it sounds so weird. Or again, it's an altar that you go, but I mean, a normal dungeon with rats and low-level creatures, why there should be an altar there that you have to be blessed to go in? I mean, it sounds all super, you know, fictional and forced and wrong. It feels so wrong, right? It feels so wrong. So wrong. I know that in most games it's like this, right? So like you have an instance dungeon. When you finish the dungeon, you just get the loot, and that instant until you stay in that instance, the loot never regenerates. So you have to go out by force, and you have to restart another dungeon. I know, but our dungeons are not instance. Our dungeons are permanent. So that's the issue. So basically, we need the loot to be instance and not the dungeon to be instance. Are buffs stored in database? Yes. Yeah, if I disconnect now, right, I have the strength, right? If I disconnect and reconnect, I will have the strength with the same amount of seconds. So that works already. When you take the spoils and are teleported, is like the beginning. A strange plane interrupt. Can use an animal part of one of the creature in the dungeon as a token. Yeah, but then you can farm a million creature, you know, and then go there and still camp the loot forever. I think to me the best solution is the teleport. I mean, I don't like it too much, but it's the simplest of the simplest of the simplest. Hello? Hello, lava man. Your belly is expanding continuously. Do you breath from your belly or what? I fail it to move. Yeah, this guy's not moving properly. I don't know why. I don't know. I think of all the solutions, probably the teleport is the easiest. It doesn't attack me because I'm invisible. Because I'm a game master and I'm invisible. No one sees me at the moment. I mean, you can also do the opposite. After looting a chest, you get a looting fatigue debuff, which disallows looting for another hour. Like a curse. Like a curse. The curse maybe I like more. So you loot the chest, you get a curse, and with that curse you cannot loot again. You cannot get another. If you get 2 curses, you die. Something like that. That's a possibility as well. Let me think to the complexity of doing the teleport and of doing the curse. So if I have to do the curse, I will need to have a curse on pickup, which is pretty much the same if I want to have the teleport, right? You know what is the annoyance? You know what is the real annoyance of the curse or of the teleport? Is that this dungeon may be bigger, right? And it may have multiple loot, right? And maybe you find the main loot early, right? Even if it's at the end, because usually the main loot is pretty much in the longest branch, but it can be multiple branches. So right, so the basically what happens is that you go there, you loot it, you get cursed or you get teleported, and you cannot loot anything else, right? Which is kind of annoying. You have to re-enter, but I don't know. Maybe that's better than camping. I think camping is super bad. The other suggestion that some people had was to add a monster in the last room that is strong enough to be annoying, right? So that you cannot really camp. I mean, you cannot really camp the last room unless you are fighting all the time. And I think that's not a bad solution. So you can have a large monster, you know, that you basically want. What you want to do, you want to go in, loot your stuff, and then go away. But the problem of that solution is that you can go in without even fighting, immediately pick up the chest, then go out, then wait 10 minutes and go in again, right? And go far away, maybe where the monster doesn't follow you anymore. Actually, the monster doesn't follow you in the dungeons because we have a technical problem, so the monsters are all stuck in the dungeon. They don't move, but they shoot you. I mean, if you want to loot the chest every hour, is neglectable, since everyone can loot the chest without a curse. Camping is less effective than just doing the dungeon with the cleans. Yeah, because the dungeon, I mean, the beauty of the dungeon is that it resets itself, right? I don't know if it works fully, but it should. So the dungeon resets itself. So if we go if we go here, right? Okay, this is the entrance of the dungeon, one of the dungeons, right? So, and for example, right, you see at the beginning, for example, you have, oh, I go this way or I go this way, right? You don't know because you don't know what you are getting. And maybe this one is locked, right? Yes, this one is actually blocked and you have to brute force it. So you need to have a certain strength to actually brute force it, right? And if you brute force it, then you can open it, right? But then maybe, there is people here, right? So there is this thing that is going to attack you. Now again, I'm invisible, so it's not attacking me. You may have traps, you may have stuff, right? And this, yeah. And this door, it will reset itself after some time. I don't know exactly when, but I don't remember. But I think after a few minutes, it's going to reset itself, right? And so if you go down into the dungeon, avoiding the traps, hopefully, right? Ouch. There are monsters everywhere, right? Ouch. So you may, I mean, it really may takes you time to go through, right? And after you do it and you reach the end room, wherever it is, there is a trap. Holy moly. You somehow successfully find the loot. Ouch. And I teleport you out, right? And I teleport you out. Then you will have to basically redo the dungeon, right? And that is nice. I think the teleport is the solution, boys. The teleport is the solution. I mean, I don't love it because it's a bit weird, but let's say that this magical chest, for whatever reason, they are magically cursed and they teleport you out of the dungeon. They push you out. When you get the loot, they push you out. I don't really like it, but I think it's the easiest. Now, triggering a script when we pick up an item, I don't know how to do it. We don't have a way to do it at the moment. I mean, it will be very easy to do when you consume the chest, when you open the chest, right? But obviously that doesn't work because you can just pick up all the chest and unless we make the chest very heavy until you open it up. That could be a trick that saves me some time. So if you make the chest very heavy, well, depends on the character though, because then certain character will not be able to pick it up, which is annoying. Now, because I mean, I was trying to find a way to force you to open the chest, right? And when you open the chest, it destroys itself. You just get the items inside. And so if it was very heavy, you are forced to open it because otherwise you cannot move. You cannot move around, right? Can you pick up something very heavy or you cannot pick it up? No, I think you can pick it up, but then you cannot drop. Yeah, so I mean, you cannot move. So if the chest is very, I think the chest that is very heavy is kind of fixing that. Then you'll have alts like before camping. Yeah, you can pick it up. A quest completion. No, a quest completion doesn't work. Because then how do you start the quest? We are back to the curse, right? So you are getting cursed and it's like a quest, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it's very heavy, you can pick it up. We force you to open it. And when you open it, it's like an explosion of magic, right? And you get teleported outside. So I can make the thing super heavy that no one can carry. I don't know, it's a bit of a trick. But that basically I could do now, right? I could define an item that is like 10,000 kilograms. Well, maybe 1,000. And when you open it, I can already associate a script on toggle, right? I can associate a script on toggle to any item. There can be a trap that goes off or whatever, and the script can do anything in the game. Can teleport you, can generate items, can do anything, right? So we can script whatever we want. So that would kind of work. Now a script on pickup. Well, I can hard code it, right? I can hard code it. I can say if the chest is 7111, right? I can put a nice if, you know, in the pickup code, and I can say if the chest is 7111, then. But you know what is the problem? The problem is that I don't know where to teleport you. Because, oh fuck, yeah, I don't know. Because the chest doesn't know. The chest, ouch. Ouch. Fuck. Ouch. This one is locked and trapped. Jeez. This one is very interesting. I'm about to die. Ouch. This one is also locked and trapped. Hello. Ouch. Ah, there is the main loot. Okay, this is the main loot. There is actually a monster here. There is actually the main loot. So I will have to do something that when you pick it up, I mean, you can unlock it if you want to unlock it, right? Like you can, I think unlocking it. Yeah, but if you unlock it, then can you take the stuff that is inside? No, you cannot. You have to pick it up and use it. But yeah, I can hard code the pickup, right? That is, the pickup is only one function, right? I think it's a single entry point. I think there is a single entry point. I don't know where the hell is it, but we definitely have a single entry point. Handle pickup message. Pickup. Yeah, it's this one. It's this one. It's this one. So the problem is that I can say, okay, if it's chest 1, 2, 3, right? Then trigger the on use script or trigger a script. The problem is that this portal, oh, there is no portal to go out. Isn't there usually a portal to go out when you reach the main loot? Is in the previous room? Fuck, I'm dead. You need more than 1k, you can move up about 1,300. I died. No, you have to run back to start. Ah, okay, I didn't put the portal at the end. Okay. I think that was the original idea, but then I changed it. Okay. You have to run back at the end. I mean, I hope I can find a way to know which dungeon is it, but top of my head. So I could hard code pick up do something, right? Pick up do something. But how do I know? I think we have a kind of a get dungeon object. Get dungeon manager, but I don't know if we have get start object. Is dungeon ready? Dungeon name, dungeon object, dungeon ready. Dungeon location. I don't know if you know in which dungeon you are. I mean, I don't know if the chest knows. I mean, I can derive it from the coordinates actually. It's not really the best, but because when you go through, I mean, it's the same problem of when you have the exit portal, right? So the exit portal knows the exit port. Yeah, exactly. How does the exit portal know that is you? I mean, that is that one. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I think that we do the same. We do the same that the exit portal does. I don't know what it does exactly. I don't remember, but we can find it out. So the exit. So the exit portal knows. That is the exit portal, right? This guy knows where to bring you. This guy knows where to bring you. Yes, he does. Teleport pieces. Randomize. Set the return location. Portal vector param. Parameters to be used when running scripts. Teleport return coordinates. Teleport return coordinates. So actually, If you can put the portal in the end room, can you lock the door and make you leave but have the chest spawn in different rooms? No, it's too complex. So captors get one chest and have to leave as chest never spawn in the same room back to back. No, I cannot. Because depends on the dungeon. The dungeon can be just a straight corridor, right? It can be a simple one, it can be a complex one. I mean, I cannot just change every time, so nah. Basically the trick that we are doing here is that we are storing the teleport coordinates. We are storing the teleport coordinates in a vector on the portal. So we will basically have to do the same. We will basically have to do the same on the chest. The problem is that the chest is not an interactable object. Right, so it does not have this parameter. Because the chest on the ground is a PS item. Well, it's also well. I can add a new variable. I mean, I can add a new variable to PS item actor. If it's only internal, you know, if it's only server side, I think that would be fine. Basically, yeah. The only problem is that if you drop the chest again. Ah, fuck. Ah, Jesus. So if you put the teleport on the pickup, right? And then you drop the chest again, and you pick up the chest again, you will get a free teleport. No. All my dreams are ruined. No. You get a free teleport, so you never open that chest. And when you want to teleport, you put it down, you pick it up. Done. I mean, we could check if you are in the right sector, right? So we could check if you are in a dungeon, but still, it may be another dungeon. So... ah, fuck, that doesn't solve it. I mean, it solves it, but it's generating another problem, that is the ability to teleport yourself indefinitely. Unless when you teleport, it also opens, but it cannot because it's locked. Ah, Jesus. I mean, another way would be that when you are in the last room, so imagine that this is the last room, right? There is a counter that teleports you after some time. Yeah, but again, you go to the next room, you wait here, and then you go in again. No, there is no solution. There is no solution to this fucking thing. I think the curse is probably back into the position number 1 then. The curse. The curse. PvP loot rooms. The problem is that the curse should be on pickup, right? Should not be on PvP loot rooms. Yeah, but PvP loot rooms means that if you have a strong... Imagine the game becomes a bit more popular than now, right? Imagine that you have 100 players, right? Or whatever, 50, 60 players. and there is a guild, right, that is a bit strong, right, they're just camping all the dungeons and no one can play, right, just because they are stronger than the others. And I don't know, it makes the content be hard to play, right? And I don't like PvP too much in general, because I think it's very exploitable and I don't know. So we are back to the curse. We are back to the curse. Cannot drop my chest here. Good choice. But it's so bad. But anyway, so the alts. I mean, the alts. I mean, everything is bypassed by the alts, right? So I think we should not be too concerned about the alts, because the alts bypass anything. Because we want to allow other players to loot, and so. There is no solution to that. I mean, I can check the IP, but again, if there are 3 brothers playing from the same house, right? So, no, I think we should not be concerned about the alts, but the curse allows you to do what? Allows you to enter in the dungeon only a certain amount of time. I mean, I could do the check. I could do the check in the entering portal, right? So I could do the check when you. So I may not allow you to enter. Yeah, you can still camp, right? You can still camp. You can still stay inside, right? But that basically means that you don't play the game, right? So that you just stay inside, and because I could do a check when you enter, right? So if you opened the chest, or if you picked up a chest in a certain amount of time, you cannot enter for whatever curse is there. I don't know. I don't think I have a solution. I think I still don't have a solution. I still don't have a solution. What was the AI saying? The AI was saying. So what is the final suggested solution? Without using the fragments, because it's too complex for me to build. I mean, the fragments is a way, right? The fragments is a way. But, you know, if you have to spend money or something to actually open the chest, I don't know. He's saying use a visible dungeon-wide ward reset state, not fragment or inventory. The chest can respawn even if a player is standing beside it, so nobody can block everyone else. After a player loots it, the player is marked as having claimed the current vault cycle. The next time the vault restocked, the player cannot claim it until they leave the dungeon and complete the normal approach again. So the curse. This is basically the curse. This is basically the curse. So we are saying you pick up the chest, you get a curse, and with that curse you cannot pick up any other chest. It feels so bad. It feels so bad. It feels bad because is obviously a mechanic forced on you, right, as a player. While I would like to say, if I want to camp, I camp. Okay, let me, I have another idea. What if we make it so that if two people are in the room, the chest is automatically given to one of them randomly. So what if the solution is to detect if there are multiple people that want that chest, and if there is like a loot group. Like Contesa. How do you say? How do you say Contesa? No. I mean, Contesa, contention. No, I mean, I don't know. Probably the translation is not correct. But what I mean is that the chest, so as in the moment that you enter the room, right, and there are two people, the chest knows that there are two people that potentially want the chest. And what? Wait. Okay, let's explore this other idea. The chest knows if there are one or more people in the room. So if there is a single guy continuously staying there and camping, he can actually get multiple chests. But if there are two people in the room, then the chest somehow is distributed between one or the other randomly, or a similar mechanism that allows other people to loot the chest.
Let me think that through. That can stop one camper from taking everything when others show up, but it turns the dungeon into a lottery, and campers could bring alts or friends to tilt the odds. If you want this chest to feel contested, like a public event, then yes, one roll per respawn with clear UI showing contenders and the winner. If you want run the dungeon to earn it, I would not use randomness among people standing in the room.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of right? Because I would like the people to run through the dungeon to get the loot. So that's basically my whole idea, right? So I would like the people to... That is why the teleport kind of works, because it forces you out. Right? It forces you out, so you cannot stay there, and you have to and you have to run through the content again to get the chest. Now, maybe too hard, I don't know, but I don't know if I want to solve this problem at the moment, though. I don't think I have a clean solution. I think all the solutions that I'm thinking are worst. And I mean, even the timer, right? Even the timer is kind of annoying, because I could have... Yes, I could have a timer in the so there is this dungeon, right? And in the last room there is here you enter and there is a timer, right? But then if you don't realize it, you are teleported outside, you have to redo it again. It's kind of annoying. I don't want to make this thing annoying, right? I just want to make it kind of fair. I mean, the other thing is just to kick people out whenever they are camping, right? I mean, I can just put something that checks when people are standing next to a chest and then kick them out, right? And just give them a warning, don't camp. Which probably would be the easiest way, right? What about the crystals from the beginning? Which crystals? Every maybe 20 minutes, then turns out so campers never get priority. Instead of curse, give priority to the person who enters, so it gives the buff on the entrance. Yeah, but it's still all fictional and requires me to implement some stuff that is kind of, again, hard-coded and weird. I mean, always having a creature in the last room is anyway one way, right? So if you have a creature that continuously attack you and the creature is strong enough, you know, that is kind of forcing you to go away. But again, you can go in the room next to it unless you lock it. Right? I will need to have like a room that is divided in two and you can only enter, right? You cannot exit. I don't know, I mean, it's kind of impossible. Just put the loot on a mob, then no worries about camping. What do you mean? You just camp the mob. It's the same, you camp the mob and if you first attack it is yours and it's the same problem. It doesn't change anything. I assume there is a solution, but like for any problem there is a solution. I think other games solve it by just instancing the dungeon, and so the dungeon stays empty forever unless you exit. So how are other games solving the problems? Like, I don't know, World of Warcraft, Throne and Liberty, any other MMO?
Let me take a look.
So I think the way they solve the problem, right, is that you run through a dungeon and you basically clean the dungeon because it's an instance. And until you exit, that dungeon is empty forever, right? So you have no point in staying in.
Free patterns show up. WoW uses personal loots and lockouts, so camping doesn't block others. Guild Wars 2 leans on participation-based rewards, while Throne and Liberty and Albion-type content embraces contesting through PvP or ownership. For your dungeon chest, personal participation-based rewards are usually the cleanest fix, because camping doesn't deny anyone else their own reward.
What do you mean? What do you mean by use personal loot and lockouts?
Personal loot means each player gets their own reward roll, not one shared chest everybody fights over. Lockouts mean you can only get loot from that boss or chest once per reset period, so camping doesn't let you farm it over and over.
Per reset period. But I guess you mean that those dungeons are instance dungeons, they are not permanent dungeons. So the reset means that you have to exit the dungeon, otherwise it stays empty forever, and then you get a new dungeon with the loot again. Or is there another mechanism?
Let me check that detail. Not necessarily. In open world setups, the boss or chest just resets on its own schedule, while each player has their own lockout flag, so the chest can restock even if someone is camping, but that camper can't claim it again until their lockout resets, while other eligible players can still loot.
Okay. So you are prevented basically to loot it. You are prevented to loot it for a certain amount of time. So it's the curse, right? Again, it's the curse. So it's the curse. So as soon as you loot it, you get the curse, and the curse stays on you certain amount of time, and you cannot loot it again. So there is a so when you pick it up, we start a spell, right? But it's so bad to see. I mean, I would be so upset if I was a player, you know, if I was a plane shift player, and when I pick up a chest, I would see here a new spell coming up that is called chest despawn time. I would be so mad because it's completely out of the game, right? It's something that is completely out of the game, that makes absolutely no sense at all in the world. In our world, doesn't make any sense. Give me the chest or don't give me the chest, but what is this curse? Who is cursing me? Why and for what? And why it ends exactly at that time? Do you have a way to see player recamp the chest? Well, yes, I can check the position, yes. I can check the position. If I see that they are camping too much, I can send them a message and say to stop, but maybe they will not stop. The strange plane. What do you mean, Marcelo? What about the Christian from the beginning, the strange plane? What about the strange plane? I mean the Draken plane, you mean? I don't know. I think that the solution is the curse, but I don't like it. My problem is that I really don't like it. I don't like to have here a new icon that says chest respawn time 10 minutes, chest curse 10 minutes, and then you have to wait 10 minutes and you can go in and get it again. I mean, it annoys me so much. I prefer people to camp than adding this fucking thing. I probably prefer PvP area compared to the curse. That makes no sense in game, because at least PvP makes sense. It's just other people there, right? I mean, another way could be that the respawn time is long enough not to be worth it to camp, right? So let's say that, yeah, that's probably the only solution. So let's say that I have, yeah, I think that's the solution, guys. I think we just found the solution. So, but the problem is, yeah, the problem is for the other players though. So let's say that maybe. So let's say that is my world, right? And let's say that I have many dungeons, more than now, right? So I have many dungeons. And every dungeon is providing you some kind of nice loot, right, that you want. So the point is that yes, you can camp this dungeon if you want, right? You can stay here, but the respawn is maybe 10 minutes or 20 minutes, right? It's maybe 20 minutes, right? It's maybe 20 minutes. So is it better, right? Is it better for you to wait 20 minutes here, or maybe in those 20 minutes do 2 other dungeons and actually get loot from those 2 other dungeons instead of waiting, right? So I think if we put an incentive, like there is enough stuff to do around that is good enough and this value is high enough, then you automatically exit from the dungeon. then the player exits from the dungeon because it doesn't want to wait 20 minutes. I mean, there will still be the guy that, you know, is doing it while he's working, and so it just pay attention every 20 minutes to the game and he's still camping, okay. But I think if the randomization is high enough, like maybe he spawns, I think I need to change the randomization more. I don't know how the randomization is, but I think if the randomization is very variable, right? So it can go from, I don't know, from 5 minutes to 25, right? So the range is very, very, very different. So basically you have to check every time to, unless you have a script, okay? Assume that you don't have a script, but you have to check basically every time because you don't know when that freaking chest will respawn. I think at the moment the respawn rate is probably kind of fixed or very... So the respawn rate of the arcane chest, that's a good question. The respawn rate, I don't even know how do we do this now. I think I documented it here, but I didn't say. Schedule item, create item. Schedule item, create item, dungeon name, spawning the item, dungeon name, are we in a procedural dungeon? Yes, but it is not where we do the thing. Where we do the thing is when this thing is picked up. I think it's when this thing is picked up. I don't see the timing here. Unless there is a default time. There should be interval, right? There should be interval that is set. Make interval, we return a randomized. Yeah, I think it's based on what we have in the database, but I don't know if it's the same for all the arcane chests. Probably yes, then. Probably yes. Arcana treasure chest, right? 71111. No. No, we should have a timer somewhere. I don't know where the hell is the timer. I think we set it on... wait. Here it is. Here it is. Loot respawn time and Procedural dungeon loot respawn RNG. So loot respawn time. What is this thing? Loot respawn time is equal to procedural dungeon respawn loot base. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So at the moment, right, at the moment, the respawn is 600, so it's 10 minutes plus 1 minute. And I think that's very bad. 10:45. It's around yeah, at the moment is 10 minutes plus 60 seconds, right? 10 minutes plus 60 seconds. So it's very predictable, but I can do the opposite. I can do 60 seconds plus 10 minutes randomized, right? So I think that this value to me should be, so the variability should be higher. And the time should be now we have to decide. I mean, obviously it cannot be every 60 seconds, otherwise it's a bit too much, right? But if we do between, so at the moment the randomization is between 1 and 11 minutes, right? So it cannot be no, sorry, at the moment the randomization is between 10 and 11 minutes, so it cannot be lower than 10, it cannot be greater than 11, and it can be any number in between, right? That is how it works now. That is now, right? But I think it is very bad because it's super predictable, and it doesn't really, you know, force you to go in other places. Well, I think the solution is to force you to go in other places. And so what can be a good number? What can be a good number? I think I want to make it more 25. Now, the problem will be if there are many players, right? They want that particular dungeon. And if there are many players, they want a particular dungeon and it's spawning only every 20 minutes. I mean, it's a bit rough, right? Because it's a bit rough. So, but if we do, for example, 7, 7:15 or 7:16, whatever, or 7:17, right? So it is a fairly broad range, right? It's a fairly broad range. 17 minutes is really a lot if you are unlucky. I mean, on average is like 12 minutes, right? But you don't know. It shuts the door also, so you need like 7 minimum not to have it close as you are looking. It shuts the door after 7 minutes, is what you're saying? The reset. I think there is a trap reactivate time is actually only 60 seconds. So the traps, I think, reactivate very quickly. But I don't know if the dungeon resets completely. There is 60 seconds on lootable furniture, but I think this part is a bit broken actually. So how do you feel about 7:17? Or 7, I mean 7 is kind of short, I mean, if you are lucky, after 7 minutes it's there. So I'm basically removing 3 minutes from the minimum and I'm adding 6 to the maximum. The door closes when you are inside, just before the chest come back. There is a thing that I never tested, but if you are inside and the door closes and there is a riddle, are you locked in? Because the riddle can only be solved from the previous room. I think in that case you are locked in forever. You will have to die. I think 717 is a kind of a good number. So we need 7 by what? By 60? So 420. So this becomes 420. And this becomes 17 by 60. 1020. The time of loot respawn should be less predictable, as possible, to avoid campers. $420, 1020. You haven't seen one with a riddle? Okay. Is the one with the pedestal that you have to put an item in? Okay, let me just be sure that this is not used in other places, because otherwise we are changing. Seems that it is. No. No, it's okay, just set in 3 places, but it seems to be the same. Actually, I don't know why I set multiple places the same, but fine. And this one is using 1 place only. Okay, I think we can do this change, and I mean, this change is only for the procedural dungeons, but I think it makes it way less predictable. So if you are a camper, you know, and you are like setting a timer, you know, to check every 10 minutes, now this doesn't work anymore, right? So you will have to check for 10 minutes in a row, so from 7 to 27, sorry, from 7 to 17, right? So you will have to check continuously for 10 minutes. So it will become very tedious, right? Unless you have a script. But if you have a script, I think we can detect that and we can just ban the person, right? Or kick him, give him a warning, and then ban him, right? So I would not consider the scripts a problem. And I would say, if we have other good stuff around, right? If we have other good stuff around to do, maybe you don't want to wait 20 minutes because it's really wasted time, right? But you want to do some other stuff, you know. Yeah, you want to do some other stuff, like, I don't know, picking up this thing, for example. You were not successful. Fuck. What do you mean? I was not successful at all. I suck at harvesting. Well, I'm level 10. Okay, this one probably is harder. This one is probably harder. Ah, I got one, huh? Very nice. Fuck, we need to change this. I will change this item, I promise. Okay. 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 I don't know. We did all this reasoning at the end. Let me see what the AI thinks about it. Okay, so at the end, what I decided that the camping time should not be worth it. And so I decided to change the randomization of the respawning of the loot from 10 minutes to 11 minutes. It was before. So before was randomized between 10 and 11 minutes, but now is randomized between 7 and 17 minutes. So if you are a camper, you actually have to look for the thing for 10 minutes straight. What do you think about it?
Let me think about that real quick. I think that's a good low-cost first solution. It'll only reduce camping if the expected value per hour ends up worse than just running dungeons normally. I'd ship it and watch the data. If camping is still optimal, you'll likely need to tune rewards, not just the timer.
Yeah, so my idea is that waiting will reward you less than going to another dungeon and finding more loot in those 17 minutes.
Right. Yeah, that's the right economic target. Just make sure you're rewarding the active run enough that players actually feel that difference, not just in theory.
Didn't convince me fully, but yes, I think we do this. For now, that's the only fix I want to do. I don't want to add the curse. I don't want to add the teleport because it's too messy. I don't want to add the PvP. I don't want to add... I think I want to add more dungeons, more variable loot around, and more things to do, so that you are incentivized to play more, just to do more stuff instead of standing on a single spot. And if you really want to stand in a single spot, okay, go and do it. Go and do it. Will not be the best for you, but do it. I'm fine with that. Do it. Okay, we didn't do much tonight. I have to go, but no, I mean we did some. We fixed some stuff at the beginning. We did some reasoning. I still didn't fully decide what to do with these items, right? And I didn't change the script, right? I didn't change the script for the dungeon. I mean, we got diverted a bit by this reasoning. Yeah, I really need to change this somehow, right? Because at the moment I can only manage two loot rules, right? And that's not good. We need to be able to manage multiple loot rules, right? With our dungeons. But at least we reasoned a bit on the camping, and we did something for the camping, right? We already did something by adding more dungeons, but I think that now that the variability is higher, I assume that people will just not stand there, but maybe if you go there and you will find the loot, right? So yes, Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna go, but thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I will try to do maybe also an afternoon stream. I don't know. I'm thinking about, even if I'm doing a lot of stuff these days because I'm in holiday. Like for example, I went to buy some a replacement for the fan of the Linux machine. I put a thermal paste today on it. I did some, you know, maintenance work on some of the PCs and stuff. So, which is something that I cannot do on stream. But we will see. Maybe you will see me in the afternoon. I think the portal can only be done with a sickle. No, everything that is a farming tool, everything that is inside the tools farming, you can use to farm, to harvest. So I don't know exactly what items we have there, but the axe is one of them. I think is everything farming. So you could, in theory you can do. Let me try, but yes, I think it will work. I take a bucket in my hand. Yep. And I harvest. Well, in theory you are putting the thing in the bucket, you know? That's why. Yeah, everything that is under farming works. I do think that the portal in the last room adds this goal, yeah. The portal in the last room to exit, huh? So that people don't go back, don't have to go back the whole dungeon. I think the original idea was that, but then I think I was missing space or something, because I wanted to be sure that there was a monster as well, the possibility of a monster. So adding the portal would automatically remove the monster or a trap, right, in a small room. And so I think I didn't do it for that reason. I don't remember exactly why I did that, but yeah, anyway, see you guys next time, tomorrow. Bye bye, see you soon. Bye bye.